Prime Minister, would you be so kind as to turn your mic on for me? Thank you. Just one Prime Minister. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Excellencies of the Diplomatic Corps, Jamaicans at home and in the diaspora listening, watching, and following on social media, distinguished ladies and gentlemen in the gallery, I stand before this honorable House with a heart full of gratitude. First and foremost, I give thanks to the Almighty God for His grace, wisdom, and countless mercies to allow me to stand here for the 10th time to deliver my contribution to the national budget debate. Madam Speaker, honorable members, senators, and former members seated in the well, blessings to you and on our nation. Each day we are given is an opportunity to serve, to improve and to uplift the lives of our fellow Jamaicans, and I do not take this responsibility lightly. I am deeply grateful to my family for their love and support, especially my wife Juliet, and my mother, whose presence here and prayers continue to strengthen me. And Madam Speaker, allow me to express further gratitude and commendation on your firm and balanced hand in guiding the affairs of this House. To my colleagues in Cabinet, our parliamentary team, and the dedicated members of our party, I appreciate your steadfast commitment to the people of Jamaica and to my West Central family. Thank you for allowing me the privilege of representing you. I also extend sincere appreciation to my personal staff and advisors for their tireless work and support, and I want to thank the hard-working public sector workers, permanent secretaries, and board members whose work has made the achievements of this administration possible. I especially want to acknowledge the work of the security forces who face great danger in keeping Jamaica safe. In the same breath, allow me to thank the members of my personal security detail for their dedication, vigilance, and oftentimes running that extra mile to ensure that I can safely serve the people. I also want to thank the countless industrious Jamaicans, known and unknown, who work tirelessly to keep this country moving forward. Your dedication is the backbone of our progress, and the plans I present today would not be possible without your hard work. I am especially mindful of the voices of the people, whether spoken in the community meetings, shared through letters, emails, and WhatsApp messages, or expressed on social media. I hear you. I value your concerns, your ideas, and your hopes for our nation. My government remains committed to serving you with humility and purpose. At this point, Madam Speaker, I want to reference a letter that I received from a member of the public. I can't say where I received it, because whenever I go out into the public, persons literally put envelopes in your hand and they say, please read it, Mr. Prime Minister. And I always ask them, do you have your name on it? Do you have your telephone number? Well, this letter, Madam Speaker, I could barely make out what was read in it. And I had to pass it to my chief of staff and to someone else to say, please read this and give me a sense as to what the person is saying. But what the person was saying, Madam Speaker, they were relating an incident they observed with a blind man going on a bus. and an unfortunate incident where this blind man was denied access to the bus. And the person was writing to say, Prime Minister, please ensure that our disabled community is protected. It was not in the best language, and pardon me if I say that the writing was closer to hieroglyphics. But it was the thought that counted, that the person took the time to write this letter, to send it to me for my attention. And I want that person to know, wherever they are, that we read the letter and we're going to ensure that our public services pay the respect and give the access to our disabled community that they deserve. Madam Speaker, I stand before you today filled with immense pride as we reflect on the extraordinary progress our nation has made. The achievements are not just incremental improvements, they are historic breakthroughs that have placed our beloved nation in the strongest economic position ever since gaining independence. The numbers do not just tell a story of improvement, they tell a story of transformation, of an economy that has overcome decades of instability, uncertainty, and crisis to achieve a level of stability, strength, and resilience that Jamaica has never before experienced. Madam Speaker, the Leader of the Opposition and the Opposition spokesman on finance in their presentation attempted to whitewash their record and suggested that analysis of the country's economic performance does not go back far enough to do justice to their contribution. I do not believe they can complain if we start at independence. There are several generations of young people who do not know our modern economic history. There are generations of middle-aged and older Jamaicans who experienced the history but did not quite understand it or have forgotten about it. Then there are those who were the architects of the destructive past. Some quietly and privately admit shame over their actions, but some still try to justify their actions and absolve themselves of responsibility as they battle for your mind. I don't like to dwell on the past, but I find myself having to correct the problems of the past while at the same time dealing with the current challenges and creating new legacies for the future. We cannot lose the battle for the minds of the people of Jamaica. Otherwise, we are at risk of having the people who made the mistakes of the past repeat them. Madam Speaker, let us examine the facts. Let's start with inflation. The table now being displayed shows that the average annual inflation under my administration has been 5.5%, the lowest under any administration since 1972. This is within the inflation target of 4 to 6%, despite the effect of global inflation resulting from the post-COVID supply chain shocks and geopolitical conflicts. Without the post-COVID inflation spike, we could safely project that our average inflation rate would have trended around 4.3%. The period of highest inflation in Jamaica's history was under the PNP administration of 1989 to 2007. During that period, inflation averaged 18.5% per year. Listen to this, resulting in cumulative inflation of 2,249%. A better way to understand it, Madam Speaker, is that in 1980, a loaf of bread cost less than $1. In fact, it cost about 50 cents, somewhere around there. But in 2007, it cost $130. You know how much inflation that is? I'm afraid to say it. I'll leave it up to a smart economist, young economist, to tell us the inflation. It is embarrassing to say. Cumulative inflation in the United States during the same period, 1989 to 2007, was 71.5%, or 2.9% per year. In 1992, Jamaica's inflation rate was nearly 80%. So in 1 year, in a single year, Jamaica had more inflation than the United States had over the same 18 and a half years. Madam Speaker, it is in this period of runaway inflation under the PNP that the starting point of Jamaica's economic woes can be identified. Madam Speaker, our current annual rate of inflation is now down to 4.4%, at the lower end of the Bank of Jamaica's target range of 4 to 6%. Through well-managed fiscal and monetary policy, we have brought inflation back down to sustainable levels. My administration has instituted a robust policy of inflation targeting through disciplined monetary policy of the independent central bank, supported by responsible fiscal policies of the central government. We must not allow the failed policies of the PNP to destroy the gains we have made in managing inflation over the decades.